All right, what do we got next? We have break apart three-digit subtraction problems. This is going to look very similar to the break apart three-digit addition problems that we did in an earlier stream, so hopefully it won't be anything too horrible. Trey isn't sure how to subtract 775 minus 495. Help Trey by choosing an expression that is the same as 775 minus 495. Now, if it were me doing this subtraction, I would subtract 500 instead of 495, and then I would add 5 to sort of make up for the difference, right? Because adding 500 is easy. Subtracting 5 is easy. I'm sorry, subtracting 500 is easy. Adding 5 is easy. I get mixed up sometimes. But simply subtracting 495 is not. It's not easy. So let's see which of these are correct, if any. 775 minus 400, that's correct. Minus 75 minus 20. Yeah, that's 495, right? If I take away 400 and then 75 and then 20, I have taken away 495 in total. And again, I really want to point out the relationship between addition and subtraction here. If I add up all of those numbers, 475 and 20, I get 495. Or I can subtract them off one at a time. 775 minus 400, minus 75, minus 20. That's distribution again, which we talked about in a previous video as well. 143 minus 79 is the same thing as, well, that would be 142 minus 80. If that, wait, it's minus, not plus. It would have been 142 if it was plus. I think it's 144. Because if we're going to add a negative one, and that's actually really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to write down on this, because that was good. I almost tricked myself there. Okay. So 143 minus 79. If I am going to put another negative 1 in here to make negative 80, right? I need to subtract 1 off of that to make negative 80. I have to then add 1 so that the total amount balances, right? Because if I take the total change, it's 0, right? The total amount of change that has happened is 0. I added 1, I subtracted 1, the grand total change is nothing. So that's kind of where my mind went. I accidentally saw that as a plus instead of a minus at the beginning. So again, if you make that mistake, please don't, take it personally. It happens to the best of us. Which of course I am, obviously. Jan isn't sure how to subtract 576 minus 294. Well, A is close, right? It's minus 200, minus 90, but then it's minus 40. Tens instead of ones. Easy mistake to make. I think it's B. You take 576, you take away the 200, you take away the 90, you take away the 4. Is that always the best way to go? Well, no. We've got lots and lots of different tools here, right? Sometimes estimation is the best thing to use. Sometimes carrying is the best thing to use. Sometimes a calculator is the best thing to use. There's lots and lots of different possibilities. So if I take another 8 away, I have to add that 8 to the 532, which gives me 540. Take a moment to check my work in your own head to make sure that I did it right. I hope I did. I don't think. Is it? It seems like that's too obvious of an answer. These negatives can get really, really tricky, and I can get caught up in them all the time. So let's go back to the whiteboard. If we go from negative 308 to negative 300, that's actually adding 8. So we have to subtract it from the 532. That was on me. And again, I hope this illustrates how easy it can be to get mixed up in negatives. It really, really, really can. It is the single largest source of mistakes that I've seen at all levels of math. It never gets to the point where it's going to be perfectly easy all the time. So be easy with yourself. I think this is actually 524 minus 300. And let's see if I got that right. I did. See, I almost got it wrong. Because again, anyone can make these mistakes. Anyone can get mixed up with negatives. It's all right. It happens to everybody. Don't get down on yourself, and definitely don't make fun of other people for it. What do we got next?